Hello everybody and welcome to our new series where we're gonna be playing Stellaris. And we're gonna be doing it with a twist. You see, every player is using and displaying a different strategy which they're gonna be using to gain victory. Now, for those who do not know, Stellaris is an empire management grand strategy game. It's a little hard to define, you just have to play it for yourselves, and it's an awesome game. And it's a great game in its complexity, in its depth, and how many viable solutions there are, and as well as how visible these strategies are in real world. You can see a lot of these strategies being used throughout history. And that is what we're going to be covering in this series, and hopefully you will be able to take these strategies, build upon them, use them yourselves, and just have fun. We're also going to be telling the story of the overall campaign and how things occur. We're going to speed things up a bit, so you will not have 6-hour sessions, which we oftentimes end up having, to experience this interesting series. So without further ado, let's take a look at our players and what they are going to be playing. So first off, we have got Vorek civilizations. Vorek's civilization. I don't know how to pronounce these guys. Those Xenos with their weird names. But I will still try my best. So, Vorek civilization is going to be playing a Pacifist Federation builder. And this is one of the most cornerstone play styles of Stellaris. It's a complete antithesis to the RTS model, the standard, build, get stronger, exploit, and destroy, kind of the 4X model. This playstyle prefers to expand peacefully until they can start a federation, and until then use their friendly neighbors as a deterrent against hostile forces. They can oftentimes pay off mercenaries to harass and weaken their enemies, and after the federation is established, they try to gain influence within the Federation to push for victory and establish galactic peace. It is a very popular playstyle among the multiplayer community, at least from what I've seen, which strives for coexistence. Next up, we have the Tribe. They are going to be playing as a wide hive mind. This playstyle is pretty straightforward. It expands into its surrounding territories and makes allies and enemies as it goes. It tries to expand into strategic points as fast as possible. Depending on its neighbors, it can either play diplomatically or aggressively, oftentimes a mix of both. So it will be friendly with one side of its borders while fighting on the other side. It can go to war at times, but would rather avoid it and spread like a Zerg hive mind. It is also helped that the Tribe look like adorable space anteaters, so there is that too. And next up, we have got Kwaznakians, and they're going to be playing as diplomatic expansionist. And this style of gameplay is also quite popular, but is also very difficult to pull off because of the overextension problem, and difficulty to defend its borders because it keeps on extending and just keeps on expanding its economy. The AI, of course, realizes this overextension and will be aggressive against such playstyles in order to keep their growth in check, because as they gain more territory, it forces the AI, it begins to surround the AI, and of course AI always wants to grow. So it becomes even more aggressive when their navy is weaker than theirs. The way this playstyle survives is by being friends with some of its neighbors and staying in defensive alliances, and as such the selection of its friends and maintaining those friendships becomes paramount, all the while expanding aggressively to cover as much resources as possible. It is a game of balancing an ever-growing complex empire. As such, they can cooperate with a lot of different playstyles, especially the tall pacifists. This is kind of more of a wider pacifist, but it's not necessarily it does not have to be pacifist. It's opportunistic playstyle. It's very difficult to explain. And lastly, we've got the Imperium. The Imperium is going to be playing as the Tall Overlord. And as the previous videos have suggested, there is a way to combine both tall and wide strategies in a way that gets the advantages of both while minimizing the drawbacks of both playstyles. The idea being, at its core, you play as a tall empire. At no point do you exceed 4 controlled planets. Even then, the 4th planet is usually for a very lucky planet such as a 25-sized Gaia world. You focus on technology and pick the standard policies and traditions for a tall empire. The Overlord part comes in a way we go about protecting this core. Tall principle, which is through strong military. While until you get galactic force projection, you will not be able to match the fleet size of the wide empires. You can, however, match their quality. Should you discover an AI empire falling behind you, you can start declaring wars on them to first take their valuable and rich systems. Afterwards, you can unlock the domination tradition tree, you can start vassalizing them, and that way you boost yourself and you can get the benefits of playing wide because now you have the military capacity to challenge those wide empires, and also the economic boost that those vassals and tributaries give to challenge those wider economies. Now, our starting conditions are going to be pretty big factors. Somebody who has spawned at the very edge of the galaxy might have a disadvantage depending on their neighbors, depending on their systems. So this is not exactly a representative of how effective these strategies are in their essence. It is just a demonstration of them. It's also the player skill is a factor, starting conditions is a factor, the quality of that strategy is just one of them, but these are pretty popular strategies that you can find both in history and in grand strategy games. And so next week we are going to be covering the first 50 years from the perspective of multiple players. And please let us know in the comments what you think about the series, what kind of things you would like to see, and we will see you next time.